New Concept Videosports.com presents Northwest Indiana Boys High School Basketball. This evening, an NCC battle, something we haven't seen in a while, when the talented Munster Mustangs come to town and face the up-and-coming Griffith Panthers. The Munster Mustangs, under head coach Mike Hackett, have dominated conference play over the years and now holds a 46-game winning streak coming into tonight's action. Some say the Mustangs have too much muscle for the others in the conference and should probably move possibly to the Duneland Athletic Conference. The Mustangs are having a subpar season in their eyes, with a record of 11-7 overall, but are still the front runners leading the league with a 4-0 mark, followed by the surprising Andrean 59ers at 3-0 and the Panthers close behind at 3-1. The Griffith Panthers, one of the area's best this season, come into play at 12-3, and their troops, led by Gary Hayes in his third season, believe they can uproot the conference champions, and that starts this evening. The Panthers' only conference loss was to the Andrean 59ers in late January, and with that surprising lopsided defeat, the standings have tightened, and now heading toward the home stretch, we have a race in the NCC. Something we haven't seen for quite some time. And if the Munster Mustangs are going to continue their dominance and possibly win another championship, they're going to have to take care of the Griffith Panthers in hostile territory and a near-capacity crowd, something else we haven't seen much of this season in the region. Next, high school basketball presented like no other in Northwest Indiana when the Munster Mustangs take on the Griffith Panthers, right here at New Concept Videosports.com. New Concept Videosports.com offers all our videos for free at no cost to the schools, parents, or athletes. Just click on the Vimeo button at the bottom of your screen 2 weeks from the time they're posted for your free download. Our sponsors make this possible. Blythe's Athletics in Valparaiso, whose team has been serving your team since 1959, is the leader in athletic apparel and equipment sales. Whether it's off the rack or customized to your specifications, Blythe's has the products and staff to serve you best. Trophies, embroidering, screen printing, athletic shoes, anything you're looking for, you'll find at Blythe's. Visit them today at teamblythes.com, where the athletes shop. By Making Finance Personal, presented by Oak Partners Wealth and Retirement Management in Crown Point and Valparaiso. Tune in to Mike, Jason, and Steven every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. for Making Finance Personal on AM 560 WIND in Chicago. By the School City of Hobart, who foster intellectual curiosity, natural abilities, critical thinking, and literacy in students, while developing respectful and responsible citizens who are excited about the challenges of tomorrow, confident in their ability to chart the future, and dedicated to the pursuit of lifelong learning. By Doctors Tim and Elisa Mullally and the Indiana Sports and Medical Science Institute in Crown Point. If you're looking for a sports medicine doctor or just a family physician, visit their team today. They're located at the corner of I-65 and US 231 in the St. Anthony's Franciscan Building in Crown Point. And by J&J's Pizza Shack in their 7 Northwest Indiana locations, featuring the piping hot kitchen sink. Try their hot wings and chicken dinners, or a variety of mouth-watering sandwiches. Then top it off with a slice of Eli's cheesecake. Stop by one of their locations today in Hobart, Lake Station, Michigan City, Portage, Roselawn, Valparaiso, and now in LaPorte. The first quarter of play and your free download of tonight's game is made possible by Doctors Tim and Lisa Mullally and the Indiana Sports and Medical Science Institute in Crown Point. If you're in need of a sports medicine doctor or just a family physician, give them a call today. They're located at the corner of I-65 and US 231 in Crown Point. Each team had a couple possessions to open play in this anticipated game between Northwest Indiana Powers, Munster, and Griffith. But it wasn't until the 6:42 mark of the first period when Adam Stojic intercepted a Panther pass and took it to the basket for the early lead in this one. Then a couple more ineffective trips by each team, followed by a possession arrow call, and the Panthers will retain the ball underneath their own goal. But a defensive stop, then a fast break opportunity that ended when Nikola Mandic dropped it in at the other end, and Munster leads by 4 with 2 minutes gone in this first period. Finally, at the other end, it was Kelston Hayden on the right wing behind the arch, and being left all alone, locked in on a tray, then knocked it down, and the home team trails by only a point. Nervous energy by each team offensively has kept the scoring down early, but that ended with a pass in the paint to Anthony Harris, who dropped in the post up nicely between two defenders, and Griffith has their first lead of the night. At the Munster end of the court, a drive to the basket, a defensive stop, and the Panthers are on the attack. Then the game's first foul came at the 4:30 mark when Anthony Harris was found going to the hoop, and he'll head to the stripe for a pair. With the ball awarded to the Mustangs, a quick foul before the inbound on Tramel Murphy, and Munster will try again. Next, some full court pressure by the Panthers off the inbound that the visitors were able to break. Then at the other end, it was Kevin Schlotman from behind the arch with a tray. And not sure if he called glass on that one, but nevertheless, the Mustangs have regained the lead. At the other end, a one and done, a Drew Hackett rebound, and the Mustangs have the basketball again. A drive to the basket by Adam Stojic, then a foul before the shot, and the Mustangs will have the ball out from underneath their own goal. After all that, a drive to the basket by Tramel Murphy, a Munster foul on Adam Stojic, and the Griffith forward will head to the line for the and one. Back down quickly for Munster was Drew Hackett with the shot that wouldn't fall, and the Panthers have the basketball again. Then receiving the ball in the corner behind the arch was sharpshooting forward Anthony Harris, and the home team has their largest lead at 5. With 2:20 left in this initial period, a Mustang turnover will give the ball right back to the home team. At the other end of the court, it was Anthony Harris, this time dumping it down low to Tremel Murphy for the basket and one. Trailing by 8 now and back down quickly were the Mustangs. Then a three-point attempt by Luke Hackett that was a bit strong. And Anthony Harris rebound, and we're heading back in the other direction. But on the Panthers' possession, a turnover will give the ball right back to the visitors to see if they can cut into this lead. Then after a flurry of action, a missed Griffith attempt, a Mustang rebound, and at the other end it was Kevin Schlottman with a drive to the basket, avoiding a charging foul on the play. Following some nice ball movement, the rock found the hands of Anthony Harris at the baseline, and he knocked down the 16-footer. After one period, we have an 8-point game. The second period of play and your free download of tonight's game is made possible by Blythe's Athletics in Valparaiso. Their team has been serving your team since 1959. Visit their website today at teamblythes.com, where the athlete shops. The second period opened with the visitors in control of the basketball and already trailing by 8. Finally, taking the pass in the corner was Munster star senior Drew Hackett, and he launched a tray that found nothing but the bottom of the net. But answering Hackett's tray with one of his own was Griffith Jr. Anthony Quintero, and the lead is back to 8. Off the inbound for the Stangs, it was Nikola Mandic underneath and off on the shot. But right there, grabbing the loose ball was Adam Stojic who laid it in. Then on the Panthers' next set, a turnover will give the ball back to Munster. On the Mustangs' next opportunity, a drive to the basket by Connor Manis, who then dumped it off to Nikola Mandic, who was fouled on the shot, and will head to the stripe. On Nikola's second missed free throw attempt, it was Luke Hackett with the rebound and put back. The shot was no good, but he'll head to the stripe to try to pick up the deuce the hard way. Off the inbound following the foul on Drew Hackett, it was Hackett this time, feeding Nikola Mandic in the paint, and on a strong move, put the ball on the rim for the basket, and one. With the ball out from underneath their own goal, the Griffith Panthers capitalized. Went on a nice assist. Kelston Hayden fired a bounce pass to Anthony Harris, who powered it in off the glass. Next, for the Mustangs, now trailing by only 5 with 4:18 left in the half, a drive to the basket, a loose ball, and Griffith will have another offensive opportunity. Then at the other end, a pass to Tremel Murphy, who was fouled on the shot, and he'll head back to the line for a pair. A one and done for the Mustangs, and Griffith will have another opportunity to add to their lead. And they did just that when at the Panther end of the court, a pass in the post to Anthony Harris, and he knocked it in off the glass. Quickly, the other way, it was the Stangs, and a pass in the paint to Nikola Mandic, who laid it in softly. Wasting little time, it was Anthony Murphy taking it to the hoop and the score. Next time down for the visitors, a one and done, and we're heading back the other way. On this next sequence for the Mustangs, a pass down low to Nikola Mandic, who was fouled before the shot. But with Munster in the bonus, he'll head to the line to see if he can convert on a couple attempts. Leading by 9 and with the basketball, it was Panther junior Anthony Quintero from way downtown locking in on another tray. And the lead is at double digits for the home team. At the other end, it was Nikola Mandic playing big again with a nice spin move in the post and the basket. Trading baskets, it was Tremel Murphy controlling the pass, then dropping it in, and the lead is now at a dozen. Then with a buck and a half left in the period, it was Drew Hackett attacking the hoop, then laying in the reverse to keep the Stangs close. Following the Panther turnover, a drive to the basket by Kevin Schlotman, but the shot would not fall. But he'll head to the charity stripe for 2. On Griffith's next chance, a traveling violation will give the ball right back to the visitors. We've played one half of basketball with the host Griffith Panthers leading the Munster Mustangs 33-25. The third quarter of play and your free download of tonight's game is made possible by the School City of Hobart, who foster intellectual curiosity, natural abilities, critical thinking, and literacy in students, while developing respectful and responsible citizens who are excited about the challenges of tomorrow. The Panthers open the third offensively, already leading by 8. And in this sequence, Anthony Harris took the ball out on top. Then a couple of passes later, and it was Tremel Murphy with the assist to Harris for the easy 2. Then on the Mustangs' first possession, it was Kevin Schlotman with the basketball just inside the arch. And with no one open, decided to put it up. And a good choice it was, cutting the lead to single digits again. The Panthers on their next possession were in no hurry. Finally, a three-point attempt. Then a scramble for the ball won by the Mustangs, and we're heading back the other way. At the Munster end, a pass in the paint to Nikola Mandic, who was fouled on the post-up, and he'll head to the line for 2. On the Panthers' next set, a possession arrow call gave the ball right back to the Mustangs. Still trailing by 6, the visitors had the basketball again. Then a quick 16-footer that was off the mark. And grabbing the rebound, giving his team a second chance, was Nikola Mandic, who then found Drew Hackett streaking to the hoop, and he laid it in. And a Gary Hayes timeout. Following the timeout, the Panthers had the basketball out from the side. They quickly worked it into Anthony Murphy in the paint. Then one dribble later, the shot, and Murphy got the roll, and the lead is back to a half dozen. But back just as quickly were the Mustangs with an Adam Stojic drive to the hoop in the bucket off the Luke Hackett assist. Every time Munster creeps closer, the Panthers answer. This time it was Anthony Quintero with another tray. On Munster's next trip, it was Adam Stojic again, this time with the reverse. Next, for Griffith, a three-pointer that was off the mark. But the ball bounced right to Anthony Harris, who picked it up, then stepped behind the arch and nailed the tray. Back came the Mustangs and Drew Hackett, beating his defender to the basket, where he was fouled, and he'll have a chance to possibly get the lead back down to 6. With Griffith in possession, the ball found the hands of Anthony Murphy, who drove the baseline. He then found Tremel Murphy in the paint, and he laid it in nicely. A Griffith foul on the rebound gave the visitors the ball out from underneath their own goal. Then a couple passes later, and it was Adam Stojic who has the hot hand this period, and he nailed a big tray from the right corner. Then an alley-oop attempt by the Panthers, but the ball rolled off the rim. Then a scramble, and the official called a jump ball, with the possession arrow pointing in Griffith's direction. On Munster's next set, it was Adam Stojic again, gaining position underneath, then taking a perfect Kevin Schlotman pass and dropping it in. And all of a sudden, we have a one-possession game. Next for Griffith, a pass down low. Then a loose ball that was picked up by Tremel Murphy, who spun, then laid it in. But the official called traveling on the Panther Jr., and the ball will go back to the visitors. On the last possession of the quarter, a drive to the basket by Kevin Schlotman, who found none other than Adam Stojic, and he laid it in at the buzzer. And with 3 periods gone in this NCC matchup, the Griffith Panthers lead the Munster Mustangs by the slimmest of margins. The fourth quarter of play and your free download of tonight's game is made possible by Oak Partners Wealth and Retirement Planning in Crown Point and Valparaiso. Listen to their radio program, Making Finance Personal, every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. on 560 WIND in Chicago. Trailing by just a single digit, the Mustangs had the ball to open play here in the fourth. And taking over where he left off last period, it was Adam Stojic driving to the hoop, where he was fouled. But according to the official, he wasn't in the act of shooting, so the visitors will have the ball out from underneath their own goal. The Panthers quickly got the ball down on their first possession, and driving to the hoop where he was fouled was Anthony Murphy, who will have a pair from the line. Still leading by just 2, Griffith was in possession again. And receiving the ball at the 15-foot stripe was Anthony Harris, who extended the Panthers' lead to 4. Following a one-and-done for the Mustangs, the home team was on the attack again. But a loose ball that was finally picked up by Adam Stojic, who then called a quick timeout, trailing in this NCC tilt by just 2 possessions. On this next Munster possession, a forced turnover, and Griffith is on offense. But the Panthers gave it right back on a double dribble call at the timeline, and the Stangs have another chance to close the gap. Then the inbound play from underneath their own goal worked to perfection, when Kevin Schlotman dropped it into Adam Stojic, who laid it up without any resistance, and we have a 2-point game again. Next for the Griffith Panthers, a 3-point attempt from the left corner went off the front of the rim, and a chance for the visitors to tie or take the lead in this one. The Mustangs struck quickly when Kevin Schlotman took the pass, then went the distance, and with the Nikola Mandic block out at the other end, this was probably the easiest basket of the evening thus far. And all of a sudden, Munster has crept right back in this one, and a Griffith timeout. On the inbound, the Griffith guard took a couple of steps, which is a traveling violation. But it wasn't until a few seconds later that the official made the call. Strange game thus far. With the game knotted at 48, the Munster Mustangs have a chance to take the lead. And on this next set, Kevin Schlottman dribbled the ball to the right elbow, then found who else but Adam Ostojic streaking to the hoop, who laid it in for the basket and won. Trailing by 3 and with the basketball, a pass in the paint intended for Anthony Harris was picked off by Nikola Mandic, and the Stangs are sitting pretty with a 3-point lead. 3.5 minutes left in this one, and the basketball. Once up court, a Panther double team, and the Mustangs are forced to take a timeout. Following the timeout and on the inbound, Anthony Harris stepped in front of the recipient of the pass, then took it all the way to the basket where he was fouled on the play, and a chance for the home team to possibly get within 1 point of the front runners. Harris converted on 1 of 2 from the stripe. But then on the inbound, an ill-advised Munster pass was intercepted by Griffith's Tramel Murphy, and he took it all the way to the goal. And we're tied again, this time at 51. Then after all that, a trap in the corner and a foul on the Panthers will send Kevin Schlottman to the line for a 1 and bonus. With the Panthers still in possession, Coach Gary Hayes called a timeout to talk things over with his troops, with 1:43 remaining in the game, and we're still tied at 51. Following the timeout, the Panthers had the basketball and taking time off the clock. Then a three-point attempt that was wide right. A save attempt, but the ball went out of bounds, and now the Mustangs have an opportunity with 48.7 seconds left in this one. Once up court, Mike Hackett called a timeout, and a chance for the visitors to win this game in regulation and keep their NCC streak intact. Then with 16.8 seconds remaining, a Griffith double team, and the Mustangs are forced to take another timeout. Then it all came down to this. After 32 minutes of play, these two talented region teams are tied at 51 and will head to overtime. Today's overtime period and your free download of this evening's contest is made possible by J&J's Pizza Shack and their 7 Northwest Indiana locations to serve you in Hobart, Lake Station, Portage, Valparaiso, Michigan City, Roselawn, and now in LaPorte. The Panthers won the tip to open play in this overtime period, but a one and done and the Mustangs have the rebound. But a traveling violation and the Panthers will retain possession. On the Mustangs' first possession of the overtime period, a drive to the basket by Drew Hackett, but an offensive foul on the screen, and the Panthers will get the ball right back. Next, for the Griffith Panthers, a pass in the paint to Tremel Murphy, who was fouled on the shot, and he'll head to the line for a couple big attempts. On Munster's next offensive opportunity, a tough defensive stand by the Panthers forced a 10-second violation, and the home team has a chance to extend their lead. Then on this next set, a perfect pass down low to Tremel Murphy, and he laid it in with ease, and the lead stands at 3. For the Mustangs, another forced turnover, and the home team will have the basketball again. The Panthers struggled getting the ball up court, but did just beat the 10-second count. And there all alone under the basket was Anthony Harris, and he was fouled on the shot. The Mustangs rebounded the missed second attempt, but the smothering Panther defense followed by a pass interception by Kelston Hayden, who then took it to the hoop and was fouled, and he'll head to the charity stripe. For the Mustangs, a drive to the hoop, then a foul before the shot. But being in the bonus, Adam Stojic will head to the line for a one-and bonus. But a Munster foul on the rebound attempt and will walk to the other end for a double bonus. The Mustangs dodged a bullet on the inbound, but were able to retain possession. Then at the other end, a nice spin move by senior guard Luke Hackett, who found Nikola Mandic, and he laid it in easily. And the Stangs aren't done just yet. Then on the inbound, some pressure defense by Mike Hackett's group forced a Griffith turnover, and the Mustangs will have another chance with under a minute remaining and only a two-possession game. Then it was Adam Stojic with the basketball, and he took it straight to the goal where he was fouled, and he'll head to the charity stripe for two with the clock stopped. Then at the other end, a Munster foul to stop the clock again will send Anthony Quintero back to the stripe for a double bonus. But on Munster's next opportunity, another turnover when the Munster guard stepped on the end line and the ball will go back over to the home team. Then a quick Munster foul will send Anthony Murphy to the line. The Mustangs got the ball up quickly. Then a tray attempt by Drew Hackett, but the ball was blocked out of bounds and the visitors will retain possession. Then on the inbound, a quick Munster foul, and again we'll walk to the other end for a double bonus. Next for Munster, a three-point attempt that was no good. Then on the rebound, another Munster foul, and the Panthers will shoot a couple more from the stripe. For the Mustangs, a quick couple shots. Finally, a Panther rebound. And another foul will send Anthony Harris to the charity stripe for two more. The final score, the Griffith Panthers 62, the Munster Mustangs 53. For our floor cameraman, Sam Hicks, this is Bob Guerrero.